Alright, hello and welcome to this E3 discussion slash reaction video for DMS Gaming. I'm Necromancer here, and we also have Dem, who's obviously one of the co-founders of DMS, and we're going to have a nice little discussion here about the games that we've seen, the various engines, what we were shocked by, what games we didn't like, and what games we just generally didn't pay attention to. So I'll hand it over.
Well, I'm going to start off with a game that I've loved the previous series up to a point. What I'm obviously talking about is Need for Speed. I kind of lost interest in Need for Speed after it stopped being the street racing games and it turned into like circuit racing, and almost all of the customization was lost from the games, which I found pretty. I don't know, it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, so going back on the Need for Speed, the run, as it's known, one of the elements that was introduced into this was the fact that there are sections that take place outside of the car. Now, these aren't actually controlled by the player. I think it's all automated. But what you have in these sections is a bit of a throwback. So if there's any Dreamcast gamers out there that have, what I presume you would still own, Shenmue, that game had things in called QTEs, which is Quick Time Events. And this new Need for Speed game has them when you're essentially either running away from the police or taking part in hijacking another vehicle to use for said race. Now, the ones that were shown in the trailer were just basic face buttons, so, you know, square, circle, triangle, X. I think there was a bit of analog stick in there for getting out of a car that was going to be smashed into by a train. So it's not. Oh, what is it? Spoiler? No, it's not really a spoiler, but it's kind of got a lot more immerse than the average Need for Speed game, which I think I said to them, I was saying, well, this is quite daring because it's. I mean, it is Need for Speed, obviously, because it's racing, but to throw in something that's completely new like this that nobody's used to, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. Personally, I think it will work, but obviously, you know, everybody's entitled to what they want to think.
Another element of Need for Speed, which I saw in the video, was the use of the Frostbite engine, which is now old Battlefield tech, as you'll find out later from us, because of the Battlefield 3. That's a tongue twister for me. But yeah, it basically makes the whole game look absolutely fantastic. Like, as soon as the video started up, as soon as I could identify that that was Need for Speed, I was like, wow. Like, there's still the elements of the old Need for Speed games there, and you can see the old Need for Speed there, but the detail, like, even little things, even markings on the road, they just look that much more crisp.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm going to point out as well through this, now I never thought I'd use this because I said this to Dem earlier on regarding the Frostbite 2 engine. There's a phrase that's used online quite a lot, which is haters gonna hate. And the thing that's been confirmed for Frostbite 2 is that anybody who's on XP or using any form of DirectX 9 based OS, you are not going to be able to play any games that use the Frostbite 2 engine. It is built purely for DirectX 10 and DirectX 11, mainly for DX11. We will discuss that once we get onto Battlefield 3. But judging by the Need for Speed video clips that we've seen, you can't really distinguish between DX10 and DX11 unless you're looking at a benchmarking of like the Heaven benchmark or the 3D Mark series. But it's nice to see developers actually finally utilising the power of DirectX, because DirectX 9 has been used for I think it's 6 years old now as DirectX 9. And fair enough, you can still make some fantastic games out of it, but hardware's moved on. You know, graphics cards that are out now are all DX11 based. It's just nice to see that this power is finally going to be used.
Before we actually move on to Battlefield, just elements of DX11 which you could see really clearly in the trailers and in the demo was just the sheer detail of everything. The particle effects on the dust were just fantastic. The fire effects were fantastic. It was just perfect, and I kept saying to Dan over MSN, this is just life in a box. It looks so realistic. And I think before we move on to Battlefield 3, we should talk about its main rival or competitor, Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah. Now, we did have quite a full-on action trailer for this. There's two sectors to this, because strangely they showed the second half of the demo first, right at the start of the Microsoft press conference, and then after the Microsoft press conference, when they were back in the studio showing various games, they then showed the first half of the demo. So it was a bit strange to do that. But even for COD games, Modern Warfare 3 does look pretty damn good. Now, there's no specific details on the net yet as to what engine it's using, what profile it'll be using. I'm guessing it'll probably just be the same Modern Warfare engine, just, modified and improved as they do. The level that was shown was in New York, I believe, and it was a sort of battle against the Russians to get to, where was it? Stock Exchange. And there was some, I'm going by textures and things again, it's all improved. It's not, I wouldn't say it's to the level of Crysis 2, because Crysis 2 is also set in New York, but obviously that's a Cry engine, which we don't really need to speak about because it is known. But by COD styles, it is definitely improved. AI seems a lot more intelligent. Enemies diving for cover all over the place. They know what they're doing in terms of grenades and things. Your actual, comrades. It makes me sound like a communist, but the people that you're fighting with aren't just standing and shooting anymore. They're actively working with you. It's got a lot better. And, I have pre-ordered this game myself, so I'm intrigued to learn some more details of it and see how it's going to be.
Going on Dan's point of it being improved, there is definitely still elements of previous COD games in there. Like, some of the things I was looking at look exactly the same as Modern Warfare 2, which I don't know whether that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing in terms of the game, but I'm sure it's going to be definitely welcoming for previous COD gamers, because they're going to be straight into an environment that they know, new maps and everything, but they're going to be able to get right to grips with it. And those who have been in previous COD games are going to do well at this game. Whereas COD has always been a game where anyone can pick up and play, and because of the intelligent AIs now, that may not be the case anymore. It may be aimed more towards the people who are skilled at this game, who have played the previous game.
So the hardcore gamers, so to speak, yeah.
And, as Dan also said, for Call of Duty standards, it is fantastic looking. By COD standards, it is brilliant. There's a bit in it where it resembles one of the old kill streaks, the Predator missile, where you drop down a Predator drone, and the explosions from that look a lot better than the ones from Modern Warfare 2, and that's the only game you can really compare it with, because Modern Warfare 1 is so different from what Modern Warfare 2 and what Modern Warfare 3 are becoming. I don't know if you've got anything to add to this.
Not offhand, because I'm quite open to it. I do own a copy of Modern Warfare, but I haven't played it in quite a long time, and personally I'm not really a Call of Duty player, so to speak, but I do enjoy playing the single-player campaigns. I'm not one for multiplayer. But yeah, like Dem said, comparing to the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which came out in 2006 or 7, I think it was. I'll have to double-check that. It is a bit dated, so we can't really compare it, but it's going to be quite different.
Well, that's about it for the Modern Warfare 3. Just to add, we have uploaded the demo from E3 onto DMS Cinema, so I'll probably put a link down below if you want to see that. Yeah, Dan can do his down below.
Yeah, down below pointing thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should now move on to the piece de la resistance. which is Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 3.
The Frost.
Where do we start? Yeah, well, let's start with
Frostbite 2.
Frostbite 2.0. Quite possibly one of the best game engines I've actually ever seen. I made a slight joke about this via Facebook because Den posted out saying Frostbite, discuss, and I put in there it's better than the Crytek 3 engine. Now, the reason I put that, I'll say, because yes, you can take it as I'm taking the piss. The Crytek 3 engine was supposed to be one of the forerunners for DirectX 11. Crysis 2 on the PC was supposed to be one of the proper benchmarks, and yet when it was released to retail, Crytek were like, sorry, no, it's going to be DirectX 9 only. Now, I've got no idea why they've done that, and as far as I know from what they've said, there aren't actually any plans to implement DirectX 11 into the game. So that's rather stupid. You're a company that owns one of what is known as the most powerful game engine to date, and you're not going to utilise anything that's there. So that was rather strange. But yeah, Battlefield 3, the engine is built solely for DirectX 10 and DirectX 11. So going by my previous comment, if you're on XP, you won't be able to play it. And just to throw this in, if I know there are links out there, there's people that claim that they can run DirectX 10 on XP and DirectX 11 on XP. Don't. You'll get a machine full of malware. Don't do it. So it's going to be. I don't know what the hardware requirements are going to be if you want to max it out, but I'm sure they'll be pretty damn extensive. Let's throw it over, Dem. What do you want to say about Frostbite?
Well, obviously it is going to be a very intensive game if you want it. I have actually just rendered the gameplay video, which I will be uploading at some point tonight. And if you want it at that kind of quality, you could obviously see how much tessellation was going into that just by the explosions and everything. If you want that level of performance, you are going to need a SLI system, most definitely. Even a 580 system it might get the job done, but you really want to have a proper SLI system, nice amount of RAM, and an i7 at the very least, if you want to max this game out.
No, preferably.
Yeah, and if the Frostbite 2 engine, I think the Frostbite 2 engine is going to become the benchmark. I honestly think the Frostbite 2 engine is going to be the
Yeah, I think, at the moment, because as said, there's no, with Crytek not, giving anything out for DX11, I mean, Crysis 2 does have benchmarks in it, but again, it's only DX9 based, so you're not really stressing your system in there. The only current two items that we have in terms of proper DX11 benchmarks is the Heaven benchmark, which of course uses a hell of a lot of tessellation, runs through DX9, 10 and 11, and OpenGL 4, I believe. There's that, and then there's, 3D Mark 11, which I have yet to try on my system, but as far as I know, that uses tessellation, physics, and a whole bunch of other things in there to stress your system at any resolution you choose. So this comes out, I believe is it October or November, Dem, for Battlefield 3?
Battlefield is November, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's November, so
November
we're going to see.
28th, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Well, we can change this in, obviously, in the text below. We are trying to recall this from memory, which isn't quite hard. Now, again, I've got this pre-ordered. Dem said that, he's going to get this as well. We will be playing this. I'm not sure whether Dem's going to be going for console or PC based.
I'll be going for console. I'll just prefer.
So he's going to go for console. I'm going to kill my computer by buying the PC version.
And he's probably going to try and max it out because he's.
Well, I can try.
Yeah.
I can try, but I mean, I've just upgraded my system, so I've got a DX11 card now. But it is only one card. It's a GTX 460 gigabyte. It is overclocked, but one on its own, not really going to do the job. Now, the only problem I have is if I want to make an SLI system, I'm going to need a new motherboard because the board that I have is an Asus. It's a P5Q Deluxe, which I think is the Intel P45 chipset. I may be wrong with that. Again, I'll have to check. And unfortunately, it's designed for Crossfire, which I was an ATI user, but not now. So now I know there are workarounds, but it's unofficial. I don't like going into unofficial BIOSy nonsense, so I don't want to risk it. But I will try my best. I mean, if it comes to it, I know I'm not going to be able to run it at stupidly high resolutions. if it comes to it, I think I might be able to get it at 720p, so 1280, 720. I can try and I don't know what settings will be available. I'll have to wait until closer to release. But I will do some benchmarks, and I'll do a bit of gameplay and obviously post it onto the DMS channel for people to see. And we'll see how that goes, because it's going to be a hell of a game to look forward to.
Another point me and Dan made over MSN is that we are going to get some HD equipment for these games, because it would not do justice running this game on anything less than 720p. Especially on my cathode ray tube bloody TV. It's
little TV.
Yeah, it's not going to do it too well, especially when I do have HDMI available. So I might as well utilise it.
I mean, it's like myself. I have, I think it's about 21-inch CRT monitor. Now, its native resolution is 1600 by 1200, which is still pretty damn good for gaming. But it is a CRT monitor, which means you've got your sort of colour lag difference in there. Your images aren't going to be that sharp. Added to the fact it's going through VGA, which is obviously very, very dated. And the card I've got now uses 2 DVIs and a mini HDMI. And the slightly fun thing is I got this, which I can't even use because I don't have anything that goes through HDMI at the moment. So probably going to see if I can grab a nice little, maybe 21-inch flat screen that goes through HDMI with nice full 1080p res. And that'll definitely help, and it'll free up a bit more space as well. It's not going to do justice on low res. I mean, there are going to be people out there, I say sadly, but the people that are going to be having entry-level cards, so you're talking, low-end Radeon 5s and 6s and low-end GeForce 4s and 5s. So it's going to be quite awkward for them, but I mean, at least they will have a card that's DX11 ready, but they're only going to be able to play it at maybe 800, 600, 1024, but if they're not a power user, then that's perfectly acceptable, and as long as they enjoy the game.
Yeah. We are probably going to make another video like this tomorrow after the Nintendo
Oh yes, Nintendo
and stuff like that. But is there any other games that you're particularly looking forward to, or we haven't covered?
Well, for myself, there's 2 that I'm really looking forward to. They were revealed today. One of them is Mass Effect 3, which I'm a little confused at the date because it has been delayed until 2012. But the way that they've done the date, I'm not sure whether it's coming out in March or whether it's coming out in June. Because they've got the American date system and the English date system. But it is coming out next year, and they've shown about 2 gameplay videos of that, and it's looking very good. Put it that way. I've still yet to complete Mass Effect 2. I've still got that installed, so I do need to play through that. But I've just been a fan of it because it's just so huge as to what you can do. And the other game, which Dan knows I'm very keen on, is the Elder Scrolls series. Now, I wasn't really expecting a proper gameplay video today of Skyrim, but Todd Howard delivered. He showed a gameplay video of Skyrim, and it looks amazing. I just really cannot describe it. If you want, how can I explain this in terms that you'll know? If anybody's played Gothic 3, sort of RPG from Joe Wood, look at the difference in Gothic 3 to Arcania, and you'll see what I mean in terms of Oblivion to Skyrim. It looks that good. Now, this is another game that's going to be utilising DX11. They haven't confirmed as to what it will be using. They've just said, yes, DX11 will be supported. So, again, another positivity to look forward to. It probably means the visuals are going to look even better. But the thing that we were joking about was when Todd Howard confirmed how many hours worth of gameplay there's going to be. There's over 300 hours, which is just insane. But it's the Elder Scrolls. You've got side quests, you've got guilds, factions, you've got all sorts that you can do. Now this comes out on the 11th of the 11th of this year. I've also got that pre-ordered, and there's going to be a lot of time devoted to that when it comes out, because it's just going to be, I want to get myself into that game as much as possible. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the other thing I was shocked about today, which Den was very happy about, but I was shocked about, was a release to Xbox, which I didn't expect. So I'll hand that to Den because he's the one that's going to be more suited to it.
Basically, if I say Notch has delivered, you should all know just by the word Notch. Minecraft on Xbox. They've only announced that it's going to be Kinect, but I'm sure Notch will deliver when it comes to controller, because I cannot see Notch just saying Kinect only, especially with a game like Minecraft, because you're not going to be running around punching mid-air all day. But I am hoping that it's going to be like the way it runs now, where if you've got an account, you can play the game. So like you could download it on your Xbox, log in, and play the same game. And I'm hoping it's like that. But I would be tempted to buy it on Xbox again if there is controller support. If it isn't Kinect only.
What I'm wondering is whether it's going to be retail based or whether it'll be through the live arcade.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I think it'll be because Xbox Live now in the game marketplace actually has an indie game section, and I think it might be
okay. Probably be download then.
Another thing that I want to know is whether it's going to be like Xbox exclusive servers, or it's going to be like PC and Xbox
cross-platform.
Yeah. If it is cross-platform, then it is going to be a definite win.
I think it could happen. Cross-platform is a bit of a rarity nowadays in terms of consoles. I mean, obviously the last major one to do it was Valve and Portal 2. In terms of PC, Mac, and PS3 could all play together, and for some reason 360 was left out due to disagreements with Valve and Microsoft, which was a shame. But I think with Minecraft, it would be really good to do it. The only problem that I think we could run into is obviously if you're running a PC server that's full of mods and a console user comes in, that could be quite problematic, because obviously the console, I'm not sure because I'm not a console person, but I'm presuming it wouldn't download all these extra things and slap it on the drive, because that's not what the 360 is designed to do. I mean, look at the orange box. The 360 version of the orange box is completely separate to the PC version and the PS3 version. I think that was running on EA's own servers and things, so it's going to be slightly confusing. I mean, if it goes over Xbox Live, then that's good in itself. I mean, at least you can still join a server or create a server, and that's all good. But yeah, I think I personally, I don't think cross-platform will happen with it. It's just going to be too awkward.
On the subject of mods, I'm not quite sure how Notch has pulled it off, because everyone should know that Minecraft runs on Java, and the Xbox is DirectX only. It only runs DirectX, meaning the mods won't be able to work because the mods run in Java. The Xbox doesn't. So unless it's got some form of like emulator between the server, between like running on the DirectX layer, I don't know how he's pulled it off. So I think it may be single player only. I think it might just be single player only.
Yeah, single player, build your own things, and I'll say maybe the option to take screenshots or things and put them on your dashboard and upload to social sites and things. But yeah, it's intriguing.
Or it might
so I have to wait for a bit more information on this.
Another point is, a thing I've just thought up is, it may be a matter of you don't actually run a server on your Xbox, but it's like host based. Like you can open a party in Xbox Live, then invite them like into your world. You can all play about in there, and it's only accessible while you're playing Minecraft, while you're inviting people. Because I can't see anyone setting up servers just for Xbox. Simply because the PC side is just that much bigger. And,
well, I mean, considering it's made them, what was it, about 30 million?
Yeah.
In terms of sales alone, 30 million on the PC. It's just unreal.
Yeah, it's just going to be good to see how it plays out. Like, I probably, if it costs and it's single player only, I don't think I'm going to get it. I honestly don't.
I mean, I'll just say we both do have it on the PC. So obviously, we can do our own things on here, and Dem's got his own server which we go on occasionally. So we have our own mod sets and things, and we build what we want to build. So if it does go down a bit toilet side on the 360, then we can revert back to the PC side of things.
Yeah. Another game that you seemed excited about was SSX.
What I say I was excited about because I didn't really know what to think of this. Obviously, anybody that bought PS2 at launch will have played SSX. I'm not sure whether you'll have stayed through the series or not, because you had SSX and there's SSX Tricky, SSX Free. I think there was SSX Blur, which was a sort of skiing, snowboarding hybrid. There was one on the Wii as well. And then it just went really quiet. I think the last game came out in about 2006 or 2007. And it just went really quiet. Nobody said anything. And then late last year, they announced and says, right, we're bringing out a new SSX game. But they didn't give any details. They just gave a few teasers about how you have these parachutey things, and I don't know what the correct term is, but like a sort of wingsuit that you can use to glide down. So if you get dropped out of the plane, you can aim where you wish to land, etc. And they showed some sort of gameplay this today, and it's the only thing I'm a bit saddened about is they said they're reinventing SSX, which essentially just means one word: rebooting. And the way it's gone, it's realistic with the occasional bits of silliness thrown in. I mean, you still got your tricks where you can, spin around and do all your nonsense like that. But they've got NASA mapping of like the entire world and all the mountain ranges and things, which you just didn't have in the old SSX. I mean, SSX really had that one big mountain, but it was fiction. It wasn't real. And look at the tracks in the original SSX. That's what SSX was known for. Stupidly impossible tricks, stupidly impossible tracks. And now it's just gone real. So I'm going to keep track on this and see how it goes, because they've kept some of the SSX characters, which is always a good thing to do. But I'm not so keen on it. I mean, if I still had my PS3, I probably wouldn't have bought this, namely because of the fact it's changed too much. But I'm going to keep track of how this is going in terms of development, because I think it might work. It's different, but it'll probably work.
Well, I just think it's pretty interesting how they have used that NASA technology. It is a pretty cool technology, but I think it's just taken too much away from the SSX, whole idea of SSX basically. And I have played SSX. I think it was the one on PS1. I'm pretty sure.
No, the precursor game to SSX was called Sledstorm.
I think that was on PS2 then. Was the what?
PS2 you had SSX, SSX Tricky, SSX Free, and SSX Blur.
I remember playing SSX and never being able to do the tricks because, as you said, they are stupidly impossible and the tracks are also stupidly impossible. But
that's what made it fun, though. Yeah. It was meant as an arcade game. There was no realism about it. That's what SSX was and should be.
Yeah.
To turn it into like a realistic, sort of realistic snowboarding game is just a bit daft. I mean, we used to have that on the PS1 years ago. There was a series called Cool Borders, and that was realistic, but it died because people just got fed up with it.
Yeah.
They didn't want realism, so along comes SSX, and people loved it.
I think this is wrapping up for this video, unless there's any other games that you can think of which were announced.
Well, there's nothing really for today at the moment. I mean, there's still a few things that were going to be shown, namely the next, I think it was the final Assassin's Creed Revelations, but there's already enough information about that online, so we didn't really see any need to cover that. The main thing that we're waiting for is tomorrow, which is the Nintendo press conference. The reason we're waiting for this is because the successor to the Wii is going to be revealed, so yeah, Nintendo do have another console coming out. Now we might as well say what the rumours were that were going around, because obviously we're either going to be denounced tomorrow when the official specs are told, or we'll be shocked, or we might be let down. We don't know. But the current rumours that are going around are saying that it's the power of it is it's going to be in between the 360 and the PS3. It's a 4-core. Not sure if it was an IBM processor. The graphics chip was supposed to be based off the Radeon 4 series. The controller was supposed to have something like a 5-inch screen on it with buttons, like a multi-touch screen. And it transferred, your games, it beamed them to you either through Wi-Fi or something else. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see what Nintendo have done because, let's face it, they don't have a brilliant backtrack when it comes to hardware. The N64, I'll admit, was pretty good at the time, but cartridges, not a good idea when the PlayStation had CD-ROMs. GameCube, you had those strange little mini DVD disc things. They worked, but nobody was really willing to support the GameCube. And then along comes the Wii. Yes, it was the best-selling console in this current generation, and you had the motion, movement, sensitivity things. But again, look at the games. The Wii was mainly catered as a family console. There were no titles for hardcore gamers. And this is what Nintendo have said, is that with this next console, they apparently want to cater to the hardcore Western gamer. So if they can pull off a proper next-gen system that's going to have proper games on it, from like Epic, Ubisoft, EA, etc., then I'm going to be quite shocked. So I want to see what they can do. That's going to be revealed tomorrow.
We will be recording that. We'll probably will be covering that as well. So
yeah.
I think that's about it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, so thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, and be sure to watch all our previous videos and following videos because I am going to be uploading. We've got Need for Speed that I'm going to be uploading, SSX, even though that is just like the kind of trailer, there wasn't any actual gameplay, I don't remember.
I think it still gives you a few sort of pre-rendered clips of what it'll be like. And, so you get an idea of the environment. Yeah. That's probably the best.
And I've got the full Battlefield 3 section, which I will upload. So
yep.
Again, thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed.
Okay.
There we go.